we are here for the second qualifying round at Silverstone for the Porsche Academy Cup. So we have a wild THKKR #1 machine on pole. Seems to have a bit of ping issues, but we will continue with him. The top three were separated by less than 1/10 of a second, which is quite remarkable, but these machines are really closely matched, as we saw from qualifying round #1. THKKR does lead him round. He's got Guza alongside him in P2. Eleanor Blixham lines up alongside Ian in row 2. Jim Boyhorn and Red Flyer P5 and P6. Ollie Polly and Bazaboy line up in row 4. Crofter and Texas MC complete the top 10. ADS, P1 Pilgrim, DJ Frozone, Homeschool Racer, Lava 74 and Raw Fooder makes your 16 runners and riders for this evening's round 2 of the Porsche Academy Cup around Silverstone. We will ride on board with THKKR, who is leading the field round the final turn then. To start qualifying round #2 in the Porsche Academy Cup. As the first round was, the top 5 go through to the grand final on November the 23rd, with the winner of this race picking up a Coach Dave Academy setup bundle of their choice. As they all slow down, get into formation and wait for the green flags to drop, we will be away racing in a few seconds time. Hopefully they all negotiate the first couple of turns cleanly. As we do have the green light, the green flags drop and we are away racing, ladies and gentlemen. THKKR leads them around. Guzzo slots into second. Eleanor is there in third, but he is challenging. He will have the inside line going through Magnus and Beckett's. Which one heals? They all come through Magnus and Beckett's then cleanly, I believe. We will ride on board with Ollie Polly, as we do have one spinner early on then. That is very unfortunate. Who is that spinning round facing the wrong way? We will wait for the timing screens to adjust, but we will ride back on board with Guzzo then. He slots into second. Everyone else does make it through cleanly. It's very unfortunate we've lost one early on. I believe it's a number 85 machine. Crofter drops to the rear of the field. He will not be a happy man. I'm not sure where there was contact, but he was spinning onto the grass through Magnus and Beckett's as the flames spit out of the back of those exhausts, those Porsche Cup cars. THKKR then leading the way. The top 5 are going to be THKKR, Eleanor Blixham, Guzzo is there in third, Ian TDI and Red Fly are the top 5 currently, coming round to complete lap #1 in this 45-minute sprint race. As we have multiple cars then spinning in the background. Oh no, we've got collisions galore. What is going on, guys? We got Jim Boyhorn, Red Fly. We got guys all off the track here. This is not very good at all. So yellow flags are being waved at the rear of the field. This is very unfortunate to start the opening lap like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is not how qualifying round 1 went, that's for sure. Qualifying round 1 was completely incident free for pretty much the entire race, but already we got spinners on the opening lap. Obviously we do have prizes, riding and a top 5 place to bag themselves that grand final position, so tensions will be high, but this isn't going to be what Jim Boyhorn and Texas MC wanted. These guys running in the top 10, as was Throfter. These three have been the unfortunate riders early on in this Silverstone race, so they have all the work to do but all is not lost because a lot can change in 45 minutes. We will go back on board with THKKR as we do seem to have lost one from the timing screens. Please let me know who has dropped out early on. THKKR leads the way, 1.1 seconds ahead of LNR there. Guzzo is into third place, sorry, as Ian picks up fourth. ADS is up into fifth then. He's a big beneficiary of all this. I believe he qualified in P8 or P9. He's now up into the top 5. That is where he needs to be. That is where he needs to stay if he is to make the grand final later on in the month. Raw Fuda was riding at the rear of the field, so he's found himself up into P6 amongst all that melee on the opening lap. Ollie Polly is your 7th, Red Fly is your 8th, Bazaboy and Frozone complete the top 10. We all ride on board with DJ Frozone, and we will see what is happening a bit further down the field also, as these guys outside of the top 10 were riding inside the top 10, believe it or not. Texas MC Jimboy Horn, he was in P5, I believe he qualified P5. Baba is there in 13th. Proctor is up to 12th and he was running dead last after an early spin from Magazine Beckett's homeschool racer. Is just outside the top 10 in P11 then. Yeah, AGS, I see you in chat, is very unfortunate for Texas MC there to be running at the rear of the field. He gets no luck, Texas. He's obviously got all the work to do this afternoon if he wants to make it into the grand final. He seems to have a magnet on his car. Every race he goes into, he seems to be in the wars, and you can see on the side of that pink and purple machine he's got damage. So he is in for a long afternoon. We will go back on board then with the front runners and riders. THKKR, the gap is only half a second, so he's lost almost a second to LNR on that last lap. Guzzo is sitting there in third, as we will ride on board with LNR then. These front four pulled them away then. ADS is some 8 seconds further adrift already with only 2 laps complete, as he gets it very wide as Guzzo then. But these front four then away with the wind, and there's literally only 3 seconds separating these front four, so there's all to play for between these four. I mean, if I was one of these guys in the top 4 now, I wouldn't be doing anything silly, because I know my place is secure in the grand final later on in the month. But THKKR does lead them around on lap number 3. LNR is there in second. Guzzo is holding third place with Ian TDI. These four are comfortably your top 4. 10 seconds adrift is ADS. He does hold 5th place, and it looks to be there's a train of cars building behind him, because Ollie Polly, Redfly, Bazaboy and Raw Food and DJ Frozone for that matter are all running quite close in this qualifying round 2 at Silverstone. We'll ride on board with Homeschool Racer, and looking at the damage on some of these cars, ladies and gentlemen. Homeschool Racer just sitting outside of the top 10, and he's got Throfter right behind him then, who has got all sorts of damage on the front of that car, so he will be running with a lot less aero than is required in these Porsche Cup cars, so he will be having very high tyre degradation, I am sure of it. Jimmy Boy Horn is sitting just behind these two. He looks to have kept his car in one piece, but he is running at the rear of the field, as is Texas and Blabber. So Texas made up 1 place on that previous lap. Blabber is now the final runner and rider in qualifying round number 2. So we will ride on board with Redfly and Bazaboy then. There's quite a few cars out there on track with some front end damage. Quite a few cars had some comings together, but they will continue. I do wonder if any of these guys will take a trip to the steward's room after the race. I wonder if the top 5 will be changed in post-race stewarding. But ADS is being chased down by Ollie Polly then. Will he hold that final place to find himself in the grand final later on this month? 37 minutes remaining. Track temperature at 26 degrees. ADS is 11 seconds off the front four then. That's a beautiful British livery ADS is running in that Porsche Cup car. I know he usually drives a Bentley and he's usually got that British livery on the Bentley machine, so it's nice to see him transfer that over to his Cup car. Good evening Frank, how did your sim grid Porsche race go? Yeah, so congratulations to the qualifying round 1 drivers. The top 5 made it through to the grand final later on this month. Your winner was, if I can just find the top 5 from race number 1. I've lost it amongst everything going on. So TRL was your winner in qualifying round 1. Ampio brought it home in 2nd. TSR Wake come home in 3rd place. Tag McLaren bring it home in 4th, and AJ to the P was the final qualifier for the grand final later on. So those were the top 5 to make it through. Currently your top 5 in round number 2 is THKKR. He's less than a second ahead of LNR then. These two are pulling away as Guzzo is 2.5 seconds further adrift from Ian. Those four have got an 11-second gap to ADS, and that makes your top 5 going through to the grand final later on. Ollie Polly sits in that 6th place position. He is just missing out on a spot, so he will be wanting to make moves sometime soon. He is closing the gap to ADS ever so slightly. 1.4 seconds is the gap now. Red Fly another 3 seconds adrift from Bazaboy and Raw Food and Frozone. So the rear of the field getting a bit spread out now. Some cars are running with some battle damage, to say the least. It's never nice to see some first lap collisions, but be the nature of the Porsche Cup cars, every single car is so closely matched that they do run nose to tail, and contact is just one of those unfortunate situations. So the qualifying times in round number 2 then, the front 3 were all in the 201s again. Less than 1/10 separated these 3 guys. THKKR did take that pole position. LNR is there in 2nd place, Guzzo is there in 3rd, and he does have Ian TDI all over the back of him. Coming out of Magazine Beckett's, down the hanger straight they go. Ian is 0.3 seconds of a drift from Guzzo. I wonder if he's going to make any move with 33 minutes remaining. He knows he's got a secure place in the grand final. He is racing for honour and pride if he wants to take the final podium position in this qualifying round. That is correct, AJS. So THKKR, his regular GT3 machine is the Porsche 911, so that has transferred through into the Porsche Cup car, and he is making it work this afternoon around a sunny Silverstone track. Thank you all for tuning in. If you tuned in for round 1, thank you. If you're tuning in for round number 2, also fantastic to see you guys again. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. THKKR is on lap number 6 then. He leads them round 4 another time. LNR is keeping that 1 second gap. He isn't closing in too fast then. They don't need to do anything silly this race. Guzzo is already almost 5 seconds adrift, but he is holding that 3rd place from Ian very, very nicely then. 1.1 seconds is the gap, so Ian has just dropped back ever so slightly. ADS then will wait for the timing screens to update as he crosses the line. We'll see how far adrift he is. 13.4 seconds it is, ladies and gentlemen, as Ollie Polly is 2 seconds further adrift. He is the first man to miss out on a grand final spot. So a couple of these guys running just outside the top 5 do have some damage of some sorts after those lap 1 mishaps. So as Baggy mentioned, tyre deg will be interesting as the race unfolds. Texas MC has moved up into 12th place then. He was the final runner and rider after getting it wrong early on. Homeschool racer has dropped to the rear of the field after featuring in the top 10. So he has problems. He is 5 seconds adrift of anybody. Red flags there in 13th. Rabbit and Homeschool are the last 2 runners and riders this afternoon with 31 minutes remaining. Then Texas MC, he's less than a second away from Jimbo Horn. As this gaggle of cars then, if we ride on board with Frozone, he's got a big train of cars behind him. You've got Frozone, Proctor, Jimbo Horn, Texas MC and Red Flag. This is the battle to watch. This is fantastic to see these guys just hovering on the brink of a top 10 position, and it is Frozone who is leading the way. He gets it onto the grass then as he tries to defend with all his might from Throfters, Jimbo Horn and Texas MC. 3 breast. There you go, as Throfter gets it all wrong. He's a spinner then, he's out of the running. He gets it all wrong out onto the AstroTurf and he loses the rear end of that car. So DJ Frozone leads them around again still. Jimbo Horn is the beneficiary. He's looking to make a move. Fantastic battling going on. There was no contact made. Throfter just lost it himself. That was a driver error, ladies and gentlemen. So Frozone leads them round in that P9. This gaggle of cars. Jimbo Horn looking to make a move, as is Texas MC. He's having a comeback drive after dropping to the rear of the field. This is fantastic to see. 3 abreast they were then, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't happen in the Porsche Cups, especially through that tight chicane and twisty turns of the opening section, as they do seem to settle back down ever so slightly as they come up to Mags and Beckett's. Then they will drop into single file. No one's brave enough to make a move through that section. Who gets a better exit? DJ Frozen's compromised, that's for sure. He was out on the grass once again, as Jimbo Horn then does have the inside line. Look at him go, ladies and gentlemen. Jimbo Horn, who's got a better exit, who's got a better traction? We've got Jimbo Horn on the outside coming into the fast right hand. The Texas MC's in the slipstream of both of these also. Can he make it stick right round the outside? He's holding his line, he's holding his line. He gets it right out wide. He doesn't want to make any contact. He rejoins and he has lost 2 positions then. DJ Frozone once again defending with all his might. He is holding on to that P9. As Texas MC then is a beneficiary. He's going to be the next one to challenge Frozone. So Frozone holding on to that P9. Throfter dropped it. Jimbo Horn dropped it. Texas MC is the next one on the list. Is he going to be able to make a move stick, as Frozone is once again all over the grass as they go 3 wide once again. Jimbo Horn just backs out a bit. Texas MC is looking for a way right round the outside. He gets the move done, does he? Can he position that car? Frozone is still holding that P9. Texas MC shuts the door. Fantastic battle for 10th going on here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll stick with this one for now. As DJ Frozone then leads this gaggle of cars round 4. Another time we've got someone out there onto the grass. I believe that's Homeschool Racer. He's bringing up the rear of the field. He's just moving out the way of the back markers. As Texas MC loses it. He didn't collect anybody, but he's in the wall. Oh my word, that was so lucky. He didn't collect anybody then. He was into the wall. He lost the rear of that car. And it seems to be that whoever gets close to DJ Frozone just seems to lose it trying to make a way past. So Frozone is still defending with all his might. He isn't doing anything wrong, ladies and gentlemen. He's just putting the car where he needs to put it, and everybody else behind him is making a mistake. So Frozone motors on in that P9 then. It looks to be Raw Fuda is the next one in line to try and make a move. Jimbo Horn is settling back into that P10 position. So it's Raw Fuda who's actually dropping down the field because Frozone has moved up to 8th. Then we're not sure what's happened to Raw Fuda, but Frozone is up into 8th position. Jimbo Horn is 9th, Raw Fuda is 10th, Redfly, Throff, Tababa, Homeschool Racer and Texas MC brings up the rear of the field. Some fantastic action going on here today around Silverstone in qualifying round number 2. We will stick with Frozone one more time, as you've got a 5-car group here all battling for P8, 9 and 10. As who is that off the track? It is Frozone. He's corner cut. I wonder if he gets a drive-through penalty. No, he doesn't, but Jimbo Horn makes his way past. Frozone finally dropped it under pressure from Jimbo Horn. I wonder if Jimbo Horn can now pull away. He does indeed start to pull away as Frozone has lost 1.2 seconds already after losing it and getting it wide onto the grass. Throfter then moves back up into P10, so it's all changed once again for these guys. Throfter back up into the top 10 after dropping it trying to overtake Frozone just a few laps ago. Who is the spinner? You are correct. I believe it's Raw Fuda. Indeed it is Raw Fuda, and he does drop out of the running then. So we're down to 14 runners and riders then, ladies and gentlemen. It's unfortunate to lose guys so early on in this race. 25 minutes left. We're almost at half race distance actually, as THKKR does motor on. He is on lap number 10 and LNR is keeping him honest. He has always been in that 1 second window. He's just waiting for an opportunity to pounce. THKKR doesn't make many mistakes. He's putting that Porsche Cup car where he needs it to be. As these two are pulling away from Guzzo now. Some 7 seconds adrift is Guzzo, and Ian is just sitting patiently behind. He doesn't want to do anything too erratic because he knows he has secured his place in the grand final should it finish like this. Ollie Polly has found a way past ADS then into the top 5, so Ollie Polly will be the final man going to the grand final later on this month. We do have 4 qualifying rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying round 1 was at 7 PM, some 2.5–3 hours ago. We had the first 5 qualify for the grand final. This is round number 2. This is the final round that will be held at Silverstone. We've got qualifying rounds 3 and 4 next week, Monday November the 9th at Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya, where another 40 runners and riders will do battle to try and secure those top 5 positions, where the grand final will be held at Spa-Francorchamps. As we do lose another driver unfortunately from this qualifying round 2, but THKKR is doing all he needs to do. He's just holding what seems to be about a half a second gap now to LNR. So these guys fighting for honours and obviously fighting for that Coach Dave Academy setup bundle. It's a very, very nice prize indeed for the winner of each qualifying round. LNR and THKKR are doing battle for that. They're some 9.1 seconds ahead of Guzzo and ENTDI. These two have been nose to tail since the beginning of the race, to be honest. Ollie Polly has found himself up into P5 then. ADS is looking to come back though. The gap between these two is less than 2 seconds. I'm wondering if ADS still has the pace to run with Ollie Polly, because Ollie Polly was reeling him in earlier on in this race. He found a way past. We missed it as we were focusing on that big battle between Frozone, as Jimbo Horn is up into 7th and Throfter is up into 8th. Frozone has dropped down to 9th as we do reach the halfway mark in this qualifying round number 2. Red fly is your 10th place man, homeschool racer, Texas MC, and Baba brings up the rear of the field in that number 2 machine. So THKKR, the number 1 machine, he put it on pole and he leads this way. He's going to be going for a clean sweep in qualifying round number 2 around Silverstone. The track has turned to optimum, so the track is rubbered in. They will have optimum grip levels, but the track temperature is falling ever so slightly, so they will have to monitor those tyre pressures. But the pace of these guys out front is relentless. They haven't dropped it a single lap, a single corner, and they're keeping it nice and tidy, which is what we like to see. They've been able to pull a 10-second gap from Guzzo and ENTDI. They've been pulling themselves around together as they circulate nose to tail. Holy Polly there, 19 seconds adrift of these top 4, but is in that all-important P5 position. ADS with it all to do in that British livery. He was running P5, he's dropped down to P6. He won't want to be finishing there because he knows he is outside of the qualifying places. Jim Boyhorn is in P7, Profta makes P8, Brozone is in P9, Red Fly is the top 10. The final 3 runners and riders, Texas MC, homeschool racer, and Baba, then they make up 11th, 12th and 13. Pilgrim dropped out, Bazaboy, Raw Fooder. Yes, we have lost those guys, unfortunately. We almost had a full grid during qualifying. We had 17 runners and riders. So a few guys have dropped out due to connection issues. Maybe picked up some damage. Obviously we had that first lap collision. There was a couple of spinners early on, which was very unfortunate. So their race has run. 20 minutes to go though, ladies and gentlemen. 12 laps complete. THKKR does lead them through Magnussen Beckett's onto the hang straight they go. Running nose to tail, THKKR and LNR. Nothing to separate these guys. They have been lapping identically for the entirety of this race. The number 1 machine, the number 94 machine. Guzzo, the Brazilian, he is holding the inside line. He is defending with all his might. ENTDI is looking for a way right round the outside. He can't make it work. He slots back in just behind him then. So Ian thought better of it. We will ride on board with these two because this looks to be the battle for the final podium position. A 10th separates these two then as they come through. What lap times are they getting out front, AJS asks. Unfortunately we can't see lap times, but the qualifying times, they were in the 2:01s, so I'm sure as the race develops they will be getting quite close to those times once again in the race as we ride on board with Guzzo, flame spitting out the rear of that Porsche. Ian's just dropped back down to 1.2 seconds then. He's thinking better of it. He knows he doesn't have to do anything silly. He's booked a place in the grand final later on this month. As everybody else is just a bit more spread out now. ADS, like I said, he needs to reel Ollie Polly back in. 0.5 of a second is the gap between these two then, so he is in slipstream territory. Although these cars don't have much downforce, don't have much aero, so you can ride in the slipstream with someone for quite some time. The effects of the slipstream isn't as apparent as it is with the GT3s and GT4s. But this is the battle for the final place, which will book themselves into the grand final at Spa later on in the month. Jim Boyhorn is a bit further back then in a race of his own. Throfter is in P8. He's got that front end damage from that early lap 1 collisions. Obviously there's no mandatory pit stop, so he can't benefit from making a pit stop, fixing that damage and getting back out there. He's just got to run with the problems that he faces. Red Flight is your man in P10. Texas MC, Homeschool Racer and Vava some 12 seconds further adrift at the rear of the field in that gold livery Porsche Cup car, the number 2 machine. It's nice to see him still circulating around out there though. It's quite easy just to park it up, return to garage and retire being off the pace, but like I said in qualifying round 1, every lap is a learning lap. There will be other Porsche Cup races, so all this time behind the cockpit of the Porsche machine will be beneficial to everybody who competes. As THKKR then, still nothing separates these two. If anything, LNR is the closest he's ever been to THKKR. Is he going to snatch the win from THKKR? 16 minutes remaining here today around Silverstone, as LNR is looking a bit more racier this lap then. We will ride on board with LNR. Bar Blixen. I wonder if we've got any LNR boys in the house cheering him on tonight. If you're here, let us know in the chat. If he's a true LNR runner and rider, he will be from South Africa. He's doing the South Africans proud. He's got THKKR just ahead of him, the Frenchman. Guzo's your 3rd place man. He's from Brazil. Ian TDI. He's not too far away from the British mainland. He's over in Ireland. Ollie Polly is running in 5th then, pulling away once again from ADS. So Ollie Polly seems to be managing that gap very nicely, doing what he needs to do. He is running with some front end damage we can see on that machine, so we do have some LNR support in the house. That's nice to see. As we will ride back on board then, THKKR followed by LNR. Nothing separating these two guys. Literally 0.07 of a second separated these two in qualifying. They've been nose to tail the entire race. They kept it clean on the opening lap, and they've just been trading lap times identically for the entirety of this race. Lap number 15 they're on, 15 minutes remaining. It's unfortunate that we had some first lap collisions. It did mean that the field was more spread out than it needed to be, as Guzo and Ian then looking to make moves. Ian's all over the back of Guzo now. He's flashing his lights. He can smell that 3rd place, he can smell that podium position. Good evening Wake, THKKR and Ollie Polly. He's shown the love for those two this evening. They are in the top 5 and will be joining you in the grand final as things stand. So we've got a few small battles developing around the field then. We've got THKKR followed by LNR. These two are within 1 second of each other. Some 15 seconds further back is Guzo and Ian. Those who have been in a battle all race long between themselves. Ollie Polly and ADS had a great battle for the final qualifying position, but ADS has just dropped off now. He's 2.5 seconds adrift. Jimboy Horn is some 17 seconds further adrift in 7th place then. Throfter had an early spin. He was running at the rear of the field. He's made his way back up into P8. Frozone had some fantastic defending this race then. First he held off Jimboy Horn, who made an error. Then he held off Throfter, who made an error. Then he held off Texas MC, who made an error. So anybody who tried to overtake him early on in this race just seemed to drop it themselves, and he just kept it clean. Frozone did what he needed to do, and he's still holding on to that P9 position just inside the top 10. But Redfly is catching you, so Frozone, if you're watching this stream, get a move on, because Redfly is looking to make a move right round the outside. He's going here then. He can't make the move stick. Is he going to be looking for the switcheroo back at the inside? He hugs the inside line. Frozone, can he defend with all his might? He's placing that car where it needs to be. Redfly is looking to pounce. Frozone bobbing and weaving. Redfly is all over the back of him. As once again, late on the brakes, Redfly is trying to make a move right round the outside. He can't make it work this time. Frozone is putting that car where it needs to be. As we will look back on board with the leaders then, THKKR 1 second further adrift is LNR. Ever so slightly wide was LNR then, coming out of the past right-hander after the hanger straight. These two have been running nose to tail for the entirety of the race. We have 11 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. We've had quite a few drivers drop out, which was very unfortunate. We were running with 17, we've lost 4 of them. But the top 5 currently bagging their place in the grand final on November the 23rd is THKKR, LNR Bar Bilkson. Guzzo is there in 3rd. He's been hounded this whole race by ENTDI, and Ollie Polly is now in a race of his own in the final and 5th place position, some 20 seconds adrift. ADS in the British livery Porsche Cup machine. Jimbo Horn is there in 7th. Throfter is some 5 seconds further adrift. Frozone and Redfly. This is the battle to watch. These two are nose to tail then. They're going to go for round number 2. Redfly is looking for a way past, but he just can't quite make it work. And Texas MC is coming into the picture also then. Frozone, he is defending with all he's got. He's holding those inside lines. He's positioning the car where it needs to be to stop Redfly making a move. As we ride on board then with the coming through the F1 start line pit straight. Obviously there's quite a few different start lines and pit lanes around Silverstone depending on which series is racing around here. But DJ Frozone then, he's defending with all he's got once again. Redfly is hounding him, looking for a move. Right on board with Frozone and Redfly. We'll see what he can do. He's always trying to make a move right round the outside. As he gets it all wrong, he touches the grass and he loses his braking points. Thank you very much, Texas MC. He's moving up into the top 10. And he's going to be the next one then to challenge Frozone. Like I said earlier, anybody who seems to get close to Frozone seems to just lose it for whatever reason it may be. But Frozone is fantastic at defending that position, even if he is outside of the top 5 positions. Frozone is having a fantastic race here, ladies and gentlemen. Texas MC is the next one to try and make a move. As we do have quite a lot of support then from the LNR boys this evening. 0.5 is the gap between THKKR and Bar Blixen. Once again, these two will do battle for another lap. Lap number 18 they're on. There's only 8 minutes remaining then. The track temperature has dropped to 23 degrees. I do just wonder if anybody's tyres are now outside of that optimal window. But these two are certainly making it work. These two are over 20 seconds ahead of Guzzo, I believe, in that 3rd place position. They are in a race of their own. THKKR and LNR coming through Mags and Beckett's then. We're right on board with these two. Touch the grass ever so slightly, THKKR. It won't affect his overall speed through there, I'm sure. As they exit onto the hanger straight then. THKKR leads LNR. Guzzo 20 seconds adrift. Ian then is all over the back of Guzzo. He sat there the entire race. He's been ever so patient as Ian TDI then. And these top 5 qualifiers are going to make it a very spicy grand final in 3 weeks time, 3-4 weeks time. Obviously qualifying rounds 3 and 4 will be at Barcelona Circuit de Catalunya, so even if they are watching on at rounds 1 and 2 around Silverstone, they can't take anything away from it. They can't take any hints or tips because it will be a change of scenery. What they can do is they can eye up the opposition. They will know who qualified from round number 1. They will see who's qualifying from round number 2. They will be able to assess their performance relative to these guys, because a lot of these guys do race week in week out with each other in the various events and series that we do put on and offer. Obviously a lot of the guys would have been in the Pro Series, the AM Series, the weekly races that we put on. They tend to be 90 minutes, 100 minutes. Our Coach Dave event next week is going to be a 2-hour race. That will be our longest race we've ever held. That is going to be at Spa-Francorchamps also, so it will give the guys some insight into what to expect when the grand final does come around in this Porsche Cup Academy Cup event. Sponsored by Coach Dave Academy, hosted by SOP Motorsport, as Ian TDI is now looking for a way past then. He is looking to make moves with 5 minutes remaining. Is he going to put the hammer down? Is he going to say, I want that final podium position? As he just pushes on too much then, Ian TDI just gets it all wrong and he has to back out, and Guzzo is able to breathe once again. Ian has just dropped it ever so slightly. He recomposes himself, but he does have it all to do once again. All that hard work, all that patience thrown away in one corner, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Michael Sutton. So the Coach Dave event, the 2-hour endurance race, will be on Saturday the 7th of November. Once again, it will be streamed live on SOP Motorsport TV. So AGS just turning my attention to Texas MC. He said he spun at club. No, you are correct there. It has not been a good race for Texas MC. He got collected in the opening lap. He always seems to have contact or some sort of collision with someone. There seems to be a magnet attached to Texas MC, which is very unfortunate. But Frozone then has dropped outside of the top 10 for reasons B, I do not know. He's just dropped off the pace because I cannot see any damage on that Porsche machine, so he's just dropped off the pace. I think the tyres are gone. I believe those tyres are worn with 3 minutes to go. He had a lot of defending to do, so I wouldn't be surprised if the alternative lines, the harsh braking, has played a factor in those tyres now, and he's just dropping off the pace. Yeah, so just to touch on our Coach Dave Academy 2-hour endurance race then on Saturday the 7th of November. That event is open to just 40 runners and riders, so there will be 2 splits, 2 2-hour races for the 40 drivers to compete. As we do lose someone else, then we're going to finish this race with only 12 runners and riders, as I do just cut back to this round 2 of qualifying for the Porsche Academy Cup. There may only be 12 runners and riders left, ladies and gentlemen, from the 17 that started, but all that matters is the top 5. Who have we lost from the top 5? We have lost Ollie Polly. Ollie Polly retired or lost connection then. If that is the case, that is very, very unfortunate with only 3 minutes to go. If someone can let me know in the chat, as I was just talking about the Coach Dave Academy event. I've missed that one as ADS then finds himself back up into P5. So ADS is all alone in that P5 then. He's 22 seconds adrift of the top four, and he's got a 12.3 second cushion to Jim Boy Home behind him. So he does just need to keep it on track, and he will find himself in the grand final later on this month. As LNR has lost it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what's gone on there then. These two have had it coming together. Oh my word, 2 minutes remaining. THKKR and LNR. THKKR and LNR. These two must have had a collision, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my word. They were far enough ahead to not lose any positions. I believe they had a 20-second cushion, but these two are going to be carrying some front end damage at least, with 1 minute 20 seconds to go as THKKR and LNR. Then they've swapped position. I believe THKKR done the gentlemanly thing as he does lift off. He brings it back onto the ground. I thought the aliens were going to take him then. He's obviously having some ping issues. I hope he doesn't have to retire or disconnect with 1 minute left in this race. LNR does lead them round then. He is going to win this race, I believe, because THKKR waited for him, done the gentlemanly thing after they had it coming together. It must have been, because THKKR is now into second place. That has allowed, look at that, Guzzo is now only 3 seconds adrift. So those two guys up front had dropped 17 seconds after having it coming together. "20 seconds left in this race, and they won't complete another lap, I don't think. But what would have been a scare for LNR and THKKR, they regathered themselves after having it come together. I'm sure their heart was in their hand. They didn't need to have any silly mistakes or errors. But LNR finishes the race as the leader of the qualifying round number 2. He is your winner of the Coach Dave Academy setup bundle. So he will walk away with a bundle, a qualifying setup, a race setup for a car of his choice. Congratulations to LNR Barblixum on that one. THKKR brings it home in second, only just from Guzzo, who will bring it home in third from Ian TDI. ADS was some 20 seconds adrift. They're your top 5 who are going to book their place in the grand final on November the 23rd. Fantastic racing, ladies and gentlemen. I did miss that little coming together. I'm sure there will be words in the steward's room afterwards. I'm not sure any action will be taken though, as those two crossed the line as was needed. Guzzo and Ian, and they all run in formation now, these top 5, which is nice to see. Jim Boy Home brings it home in 6th then. Looks like he's doing some donuts. Throfter brings it home in 7th. Redfly is 8th. He brings it round the final turn. Texas MC is your P9 man. After having such an unfortunate race and running the whole race with what would have been front end damage from the opening lap. DJ Frozone does bring it home in 10th place after defending with all his might. He was running as high as P7 and P8 early on with some fantastic racing. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, guys. Those in the chat, I don't know if Lava got in the way. I don't know if LNR and THKKR just had it coming together because they were running so closely. But the good thing is they finished the race. They finished 1-2. The top 5 were as they were. these 12 finished the race. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Thank you to the drivers for putting on a fantastic and entertaining race. An eventful, incident-packed race, shall we say. I will let you enjoy your evening, and I will see you next week for rounds 3 and 4 at Barcelona. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.